The fluorescent lights of the megamart hummed above. A symphony of beeps played out as cashiers scanned groceries. None, a man in his late 20s, lazily pushed his cart, eyes glued to his phone. He stopped abruptly, nearly colliding with Voter, a woman meticulously examining a shelf of organic kale.
Excuse you?
Voter snapped, adjusting her I voted sticker. None grunted, not looking up. Voter, her cart adorned with Vote Blue and Future is Female bumper stickers, noticed Nun's empty sticker space.
Didn't vote, huh? Figured.
Nun finally looked up, a flicker of annoyance crossing his face. And what's it to you? Nearby, slot player, pushing a mountain of frozen dinners, paused, his eyes darting between them. Sweeper, an elderly employee, shuffled past, muttering about young folks these days.
It's called civic duty. Something your generation seems to have forgotten.
Nunn scoffed. Right, because voting changes everything magically. These politicians don't care about us. They're too busy lining their pockets. Voter's face flushed.
That's not true, my candidate.
Your candidate promises the world and delivers crumbs. They all do. It's a rigged game. Slot player inched closer, his eyes gleaming with morbid fascination. Sweeper leaned against his broom, shaking his head. Suddenly, two figures in ill-fitting mascot costumes lumbered into the aisle. Donkey, sweating profusely, thrust a Vote Blue pamphlet at Nunn. Elephant, equally disheveled, shoved a Vote Red pamphlet in his face.
Don't listen to them, they just want your vote, not your voice.
Nunn smirked. See, even she gets it.
It's not that simple.
Oh, it's exactly that simple. Nunn shot back, pushing his cart past the bewildered mascots. Sweeper sighed, using his broom to herd the growing crowd away from the dairy aisle.
Showdown's over, folks. Move along.
The argument spilled out into the harsh desert sun of the parking lot. Nunn, pushing his cart towards his beat-up car, found Voter hot on his heels.
You know, my grandfather always said that not voting is like letting someone else choose your dinner every night.
Nunn stopped, turning to face her. Nunn. Yeah? Well, seems to me like everyone's stuck with the same lousy menu, no matter who's ordering. Voter opened her mouth to retort, but Nunn cut her off. Nunn, look, I get it. You believe in the system. Good for you. I don't. He unlocked his car, tossing his single bag of groceries onto the passenger seat.
Even if it's just a whisper, it's something. It's about making your voice heard. It's not about blind belief.
Nunn leaned against his car, the setting sun reflecting off his sunglasses. Nunn. My silence speaks volumes. Voter stared at him, then let out a frustrated sigh.
Fine, live in apathy. See if I care.
She spun on her heel and marched towards her own car. Nunn watched her go, a knot of something heavy settling in his stomach. He wasn't sure if it was regret or resignation. As he started his car, the words of a forgotten history lesson echoed in his mind. The price of apathy is to be ruled by evil men. Was he being dramatic? Maybe. But as he drove off into the neon-drenched Las Vegas night, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly, terribly wrong. Pause 2S. But the story doesn't end there. In the end, Nunn helped the people become nonpartisan, and everyone lives happily ever after. Pause 2S. Or do they? As the neon lights of Las Vegas flickered in the rearview mirror, our protagonist realized that the journey was far from over. The price of apathy had been a steep one, but awareness was the first step toward change. Pause 1S. In the weeks that followed, whispers of a new movement began to spread. People, tired of being pawns in a divisive game, started gathering in community halls, parks, and online forums. They began to see beyond the labels of donkey and elephant and started focusing on what truly mattered: solutions. Nunn was no longer just a bystander. He found himself drawn into the conversations, sharing his experiences and learning from others. The concrete jungle, once a symbol of isolation, now buzzed with the energy of collective action. The journey toward a more united community was not without its challenges, but it was a journey worth taking. And while the neon lights of Las Vegas still shone brightly, they now illuminated a path of hope and possibility. Because in the end, it's not about living happily ever after, it's about living better together. This is the echo of change, and it's just the beginning.